Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar. Today, we are going to be going over common customer service, ordering policies and warranty questions. We will also be going over a few key benefits and features of our website and specifically the partner portal and what that gives you and how it simplifies your business. I am Brittany Bryson. I handle the marketing here at Jetta Corporation, and with me today is Christy Holmes.
Hi guys, I am Christy Holmes. I am the customer service manager and I also manage warranty here at Jetta. So I'm going to be walking you through most of today's presentation. So we will go ahead and get started. Well, it's not letting me. Can we click back on the presentation? There we go. Okay, now we're started. So this is our customer service update. We do have listed for you here on the screen all of the contacts. Hopefully you guys know who your customer service contact is, but want to make sure that everybody understands that they all do have direct dial numbers, and those are all listed on the screen here. So if you want to get directly to their desk and bypass anybody else, you are welcome to do that. It has their emails listed up there. I'm listed at the bottom. If you ever can't get a hold of somebody or need something, my number's up there as well. We do have the toll-free number, which will get you if for some reason your person is not at their desk and you need immediate assistance, that will get you to somebody else. And then we have our local phone number up there as well. So let's start out with the standard lead times. So all of our tubs have a standard lead time. They are always listed in business days. So the soaker tubs, those normally get out within 7 business days. The Whirlpool tubs are 10. And then when you get into the air tubs or the combo tubs or your walk-ins, those are going to be 15 days. Also, the designer colors and custom upgrades are going to be 15 days. Now, when we talk about the lead times, we do want you guys to know that most of our orders are filled actually before the standard lead time. So this is going to be really your worst case scenario as far as the time for it to be ready to ship. Now, also when we talk lead times, this is the time for it to be ready to ship out. So if your shipments are going LTL, then it's going to be ready to go LTL by that time. If you are on one of the Jetta truck runs that goes through several cities, we have those running through Texas and Louisiana as well, those are going to be subject to your truck schedule. So if your tub is going to be ready on Tuesday, but you don't normally get a truck until Thursday, you need to add those couple extra days for your truck run for it to get there to you. So again, these are dates that it's going to be ready to ship, not necessarily when it's leaving here, because there is some variables with how things are actually shipped out. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're talking with your customers about when they should expect to receive it. If somebody's gotten in a bind and they need a tub a little more quickly than what the standard lead times are, we do offer the Jetta Express program. This is a VIP treatment for your tub, and it's going to get it there faster than the normal lead times would be. So the soaker and Whirlpool tubs, those are going to be a 7 business day lead time. So that's going to increase those Whirlpools up from 9 days to 7. And then the Whirlpool Air combo tubs, those are going to be 9 business days. So that's going to improve that from the 15 business days. This is only valid on white and biscuit tubs. When you get into the other colors, we are not able to produce those quite as quickly. So we do need the regular standard lead time for those. And walk-in tubs aren't eligible for the Express program because they require a little more water testing, and we just want to make sure everything's right on them before we send them out. So the cost for this program is $100. That's per tub, and it does not include any special shipping. So if you want to have your tub sent LTL to get it there sooner than maybe your regularly scheduled truck would get it there, that is an additional cost. We always do recommend that if you're getting those regularly scheduled Jetta trucks, that you let it ride on the truck. That is the safest way for us to get it to you. And our assumption is that if you're ordering it in this fashion, you need it very quickly, and we don't want it to get there and have it be damaged. So we always encourage you to let it ride on the truck if you can. If it really only makes a day difference, sometimes that's the better option because you don't lose time due to damage. The big thing on these is once you receive the order acknowledgement, you cannot make any changes to the tubs, and that's because they go into production so fast, and they are also the first things that they work on when they go through there. So it's very hard to stop those once they're in motion. So that's why once you've received that order acknowledgement, we can't make any changes. So we're going to go through a few of our order policies. So Jetta does not charge you guys anything to make changes within 48 hours of when you place your order. So if you have somebody who orders a soaker tub and then decides, you know, I really would prefer to have that Whirlpool, as long as we know about it within 48 hours, we're going to be able to accommodate that request without any additional charges. If you get outside of that 48-hour window and for some reason need to cancel the tub or you need to change that tub to that Whirlpool, there will be some fees applied to that, especially if it's a cancellation and it's something that we've started specifically for you. And they're going to be in line with the RGA fees, just as a frame of reference. And we'll go into those a little later. We do hold your orders until we have all of the information to be able to process them. So if you send in an order and in the description it says you want a soaker tub, but the price says that you want a Whirlpool tub, we're going to get back with you and clarify exactly what you do want, because the last thing we want to happen is to have you wait that 7 days and then wind up with only a soaker tub when what you really needed was a Whirlpool. So we're not going to guess on those kind of things. We're going to come back to you and make sure that we get you exactly what you need. There are order forms available for all of the tubs, but they are only required on the walk-in tubs. And that is due to the level of detail that's needed for those walk-ins to make sure that we get you the right product. So the order forms are helpful, especially if you're new to the showroom. They'll guide you as far as pump placement and things of that nature. Those will kind of help you out. So they are a good resource. They're just not required for everything. So if you have a PO system that's auto-generating POs and sending them through, that's completely fine. We can work from that, and if we have any questions when it comes through, of course, we're going to reach out to you and ask. And then the last thing is just that the CSRs are here to help you guys with anything, with any questions that you have. If you're not understanding how to develop a pump placement, something like that, they're happy to help you. When you are getting into the pump placements for your orders, that is going to be determined, if you think about it, if you're sitting in the tub and you have your back on the backrest, the pump placement, say you have a left back pump placement, that pump is going to be facing to your left when you have your back against the backrest. Alternatively, if you have a right back pump placement, that pump is going to be facing the right when you're sitting there with your back against the backrest. Now, in most cases, they are positioned right under the center of the backrest. Really, that designation is more of a which direction it's pointing as far as access. And just keep in mind that we do, in all of our installation manuals, indicate that access is required for any system tub so that those components can be serviced later on down the line if they need to be. So this next slide is our part numbers slide. And you'll see, actually to the left is a picture of our price book. And to the right is how those part numbers are developed. So if we look at the top left of the price book page, you'll see up there it says Sicily, and then it says J10X beside it. So if we take that and take it over to the right side of the page, we can tell that that J indicates that it's a J series tub. So you're either going to have a J series for all of the tub lines except for Advantage. The Advantage tub line is going to be E. That's basically the economy series. And that first letter is going to be E. The second number is going to be the model. So on the part number diagram, that actually should be 10X to match the price sheet here. So that's where that's coming from. The third one is the color. So what we have up there is the most common color. 6385 is your white color. The other one you'll see most commonly is going to be biscuit, which is 6528. So those are the numbers you're going to use all of the time. We do have the others out there for the designer colors. If you get into the black, the ice gray, the sandbar, those have their own colors, which are listed down there. And then the last one is what I was talking about with the pump placement. So this particular one is indicating right front. Because this is a center drain oval tub, it's actually got it on the front of the tub. So if you were sitting in the tub with your back against that backrest, you are going to have a pump on your right side facing towards the front if you choose that particular selection. The other thing that I use the price book for a lot is the available options on the tub. So if we look at this one, we can tell that there are certain options that are available. So if we want an inline heater or we want a custom pump size, all of those are going to be listed on there. If they're not there, it means that they are not available on this particular tub. So one that's noticeably missing from this tub is the ABS tile flange. And that's because it's an oval tub, so we can't put a tile flange around an oval tub. So that's why that one's missing there. So if you ever have a question about is this particular option available on this particular tub, this is a really good guiding resource to help you through that.
If you'll also note too, the part number identifier page, we included that in the price book this past year just to help everyone know exactly how our part numbers are structured. You can find that at it's going to be the very last page of the price book, and it'll just kind of walk you through where all those numbers should be.
And then you'll see at the top too, on the pricing page, you'll see that you have the price on this particular tub. It comes in Whirlpool and Whirlpool Air Combo only. So you'll see that there is pricing up there for both of those in the standard and designer colors. So here we go on to the ABS tile flange options. Here again, you'll see that they are all on rectangular or corner tubs because like I said before, you can't put them on the oval tubs. These are the standard placements for when you have a right-hand drain or when you have a left-hand drain. You're going to have it on all three sides. You're going to have the same thing when you have it on the center drain. If you come across a situation where somebody needs it to not be on one of those sides, we can do custom tile flange placements. We just need to know what it is that you need at the time that you place the order, and we can make that happen. And then you'll see on the corner tub that it is on the two back walls or on the two triangle sides where it meets those walls of the corner. Of course, the front is going to be not have a tile flange because it is open, so you wouldn't want to have one there. Jetta does do requests for bids for large jobs. So we're going to ask you a few things whenever you request to have a bid from us. One of them is the time frame, and that just lets us know if we can use current pricing on it. If it's not going to be in motion for a year from now, we might need to look at that and look at what prices are going to be at that time. We're going to ask you which tub or which set of tubs it is that you need because you might have multiples. And we're going to ask you for an anticipated quantity because that's going to let us know what we can run through production in an efficient manner to be able to get you the best price possible. And then one of the most important things is that we want to know if you win or lose the bid. So if you lose the bid, we want to know that you lost it, and we'd like to know why so that we can make improvements so that hopefully we win it the next time. If you win the bid, we also want to know that because we want to make sure that we have the product here and ready for you when you need it. So if you win a bid for 100 tubs, that's great, but if we try to put it in for that 7-day lead time, we're probably not going to have 100 of them ready for you that fast. So anything that we can do to forecast and find out when your customer is going to need them and how they're going to need them, there again, go back to that 100 tubs. If they only need them 20 at a time, then we're looking at a delivery of 20 for this month, a delivery of 20 for next month, that kind of thing. We can just make sure that we have production prepared to have those ready for you, have them sitting and ready to go. And that way your customer doesn't hit any delays or any issues with getting those to you. So that is super helpful information for us to have. If you hit the point that you actually need to return a tub, so say that your customer canceled or they decided that they want a Whirlpool instead of a soaker, we do issue RGAs. They must be requested within 90 days of shipment, and they are good for 90 days. So damaged or installed tubs cannot be returned, and that's because we won't resell a tub that has been installed. And of course, if it's damaged, if it gets freight damaged on the way to you, that's something that we're going to cover under warranty. So that wouldn't be something that would be a general return anyway. We may choose to bring it back and would issue an RGA to do that, but it would be done as a warranty RGA. The returning party is responsible for the freight to get it back here. So if you just have a customer that cancels and you want to return it, you are responsible for the freight to get it back to us. And restock fees do apply. So the soakers and whirlpools have a 25% restock fee, and the air, combo, custom, and walk-in tubs have a 50%. And that's just because of that they were probably made more specifically for your particular job. So to bring them back in, it's going to take us a little while longer to be able to sell those. And then the designer color tubs cannot be returned, and that's because those are definitely custom and specific to a customer. So our suggestion is if you have somebody who wants to order that black or ice gray tub, that you make sure that they understand that it can't be returned as they're making that decision. That just makes it easier on everybody. That way you don't wind up getting stuck with it in the process if they should choose to cancel, because we will not be able to return it back to Jetta. You do have a warranty on all of the tubs, and that is a 10-year limited warranty. And it covers labor for the first year. It covers parts for 5 years. So when we're talking about parts, we're talking about the plumber, the blowers and the pumps. Those are going to be the parts that are going to be covered. The other parts that people can damage with cleaners and things like that, those really are not a manufacturing defect, so they're not covered. That's more something that is a misuse or a aggressive cleaning issue out in the field. So those are not covered by the 5-year warranty. And what happens if you have somebody who has a pump that goes out is we would send them the pump. Generally, in most locations, we have a technician that we can refer them to that's familiar with the Jetta products, and will be able to swap that out for them. They would just be responsible for the labor to make that happen. And the actual end user or the actual customer who receives the tub, they can go on our website and register their tub. So we will show you that here shortly when we get to the website portion of our presentation. There's also a full warranty statement on the website. We will show you that as well. And they can download a claim form so that they can make a claim should they have something go wrong with their tub. We do have a very low warranty rate here at Jetta. We usually land around 3% out of all the tubs that are sold. So that's actually a really low percentage of warranty. And most of the calls that we get truly are troubleshooting calls. So we're going to go through some of that today as well, just to have you guys be armed with those answers. So if you get put on the spot about a question and have a contractor there that you need to help out, you'll have some knowledge, have some additional knowledge about how the tubs work and be able to answer some of those questions. Again, we're always here to help, and we can always send a technician if needed, but sometimes it's nice to be armed with some information if you get put on the spot.
Also, one thing to note before we move on, if you've been selling Jetta for a while, as of last year, we moved our Advantage line and our shower base line all onto the same warranty. So all of Jetta products, except for our walk-in, which is a limited lifetime warranty, all the products we sell here are part of that Jetta warranty, the 10-year limited.
Perfect. All right, so now we're going to move on to the website and portal portion of our training. Okay, so from the website, the way that I use this a lot of times is if I'm looking for a particular product and I want to know which sizes within that product are going to match what it is that my customer or that I'm looking for, I use the website. And once you get into a particular series, you're going to have these filters on the left-hand side. So I'll filter down by that I want an oval, soaker, and then I'll pick a length. So usually I pick that 60-inch length. That's going to filter everything down for me and show me the tubs that are available in that size. So for me, that's the fastest way to be able to narrow down a customer's search. And we actually keep a in our showroom. We actually keep the website up so that customers can do that and so that we can do that with them and show them all of their options before we actually get them into the tubs. So once you're on this product listing page, you'll see that over to the right, you can get to the specifications for the specific product.
You could also add to compare if you wanted to just compare two tubs. And one thing that we'll be talking about once we get into the partner portal is the wish list and how that can be used.
Okay, so right now we'll click on the actual product. That's going to take us to what we call the product landing page. And if we scroll down to the bottom of that, we'll see that we can get to the specifications, the owner's manual, and to the full warranty statement. So let's go ahead and open those specifications. Each one of our products is going to have a spec sheet. This is another great place to determine what options are available on a specific tub. You'll see those there on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side on the features, you'll have things like pump sizes and information like that will help you out. On the right, again, you've got what colors are available. And then if you scroll down some more, we've got all of the dimensional and electric information. If this was a Whirlpool or a combo tub, it's going to let you know how many 20 amp circuits, GFI circuits that you need. When you get into the walk-ins, if you have an active drain, that's going to be an additional one. So that'll give you all of those electrical requirements. And you have all of the measurements here that you might need on the tub, including the angle of the backrest, all of the overall dimensions. So those should be everything that you need. And those are available on all of our tubs. So if we go back up and let's go ahead and log into the portal. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, I'm sorry. Let me back up. Let's go back to the home page and let's show them how they can register a warranty and do the warranty claims.
So that's going to be easy to find if you scroll all the way to the bottom. You'll have, this is your warranty claim form that you guys are used to filling out and emailing to us. And this button down here is for the end user to activate their warranty. So say if they ever do have a warranty issue and they call in, we already have their information ready as to which tub they bought and be able to answer their questions better.
Okay, let's go back up to the top and go ahead and log into the customer portal. So that you're going to do just by going to our regular website here. There's a login button at the top.
And if you do not have access to our partner portal, that's something that is easy for us to set you up on. If you will just send an email either to myself, which is bbryson@jettacorp.com, or to Christy, and we will get you added.
All right, so what's going to be populating here is just a sample account that we have. On the order overview page, you'll see that there are several orders. These are the most recent ones that pop up at the top. So that very top one says it's ready for shipment. All the others below it say that they have already shipped. So what ready for shipment means goes back to when we were talking about the lead times. It means it's done, it's ready to go. It's just waiting to either be picked up from an LTL carrier or it's waiting for a regularly scheduled truck. This is pretty close to real time. It's got about a 5-minute lag from when they ship things across the street. So once they've shipped it off, loaded it onto a truck, and that truck has left here, that top one will change over to shipped. So that actually happens pretty fast. And then if we scroll down a little bit, you'll be able to see that you'll be able to see your multipliers here over to the right-hand side for each series. So if you're ever in question about what is my pricing, you're just going to take that multiplier times your current price book, and that will get you to your pricing on any item. And then The recently added agents, that's more on the location admin side, just sort of shows you who all is out there and active.
We had a question about the tracking and shipping. They wanted to know if we provide tracking.
Good question. Currently we are not available to provide tracking on the actual portal. So our CSRs are able to provide tracking on anything that is going out LTL. If it's going on an actual Jetta milk run style truck, those do not have tracking. Those have actually regularly scheduled days for delivery. So we can let you know what your regularly scheduled day is, but at this time, there is not tracking yet on the portal. So this is the order history page. So if you're trying to find a lot number for a warranty request or something of that nature, or just trying to look back through your history to find out what was that tub that was on that PO, here's where you can go. And each time you hit one of those bars with the arrow on it, it's going to expand it and you'll be able to see what lot number was sent out in what tub and confirm that it did in fact leave here. So that's kind of a useful little page if you're trying to do some digging on history.
Next, we're going to take you to our training materials. When we developed the partner portal, we wanted to just give you access to information that we know that you need all the time. And we didn't want you to have to go through that extra step of, say, contacting me for training materials or marketing materials, but you just had access to it any time of the day, any location. If you click on the training materials, essentially the PDF training that we have done so far for customer service, that is available here for download, or you can email. So say you attended today's webinar and you thought the information was very useful for other people that were in your showroom, you could download or email them this PDF, which will walk them through all the customer service training questions. We also have training on all the different product lines. So say it's been a while since you've done Cosmo training. I know that Cosmo is one of our lines that we change most often, just because we're adding different tub sizes and different features. So you can always get up-to-date training on the types of freestanding that we're introducing and all of their features just by clicking on this and doing a short review. Also on here is our marketing materials. And with our launches of our new products, I always send out an email to all of our partners, to all of you, to let you know that we've launched a new product, let's just say the shower bases. And I usually typically include the spec sheets and the price sheets and everything that you're going to need to be able to learn about the new product and sell it in your showroom. And say you deleted that email and you really needed that information and you can't find it anywhere else. What I do is I upload all of our pricing sheets for new products, our spec sheets for new products, all of our brochures. If we've updated a brochure, it's going to be up here. So you'll be able to download that or email it to anyone. Say you have a person that's interested in walk-ins, but you don't have our latest walk-in brochure. That's something that can also be downloaded in PDF form and emailed out to everybody. And also on here is our warranty. We showed you the button where you can download the warranty form, and this takes it a step forward into ease. So this will not have to be filled out and emailed. This warranty section you fill out, and once it's submitted, goes directly to our warranty department.
Correct. And so this is all of the same information that you would have on the regular warranty form. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that on the cosmetic issues, we do always ask for an image. So this gives you the opportunity to upload an image here. And that really is because everybody's perception of a small crack or a small scratch may be different. And we want to make sure, we want to see those pictures and make sure that it's something that can be repaired. The last thing that we want is for your customer to wait for a week or a week and a half waiting for a technician to get there, only to find out that it's something that can't be repaired. And a lot of those calls we can make from seeing an actual image. So that's why we ask for those to be uploaded. Down here, you'll see some different of the troubleshooting items that we have. So we're going to go over these in our troubleshooting segment. But what we want to know is just if you've already gone over these with your customer, just go ahead and check those off. What we don't want to do is put your customer through all of the same things again if you've already done that. So we don't want to ask them the same questions and frustrate them. So we'd prefer to know if you've already gone over those things, and then we won't go back through it with them. You do have a lot of different options that you can pick from here as far as if they're having a mechanical issue, just to kind of guide you. We are always going to ask about access. All of our installation instructions do say that access is required so that the components can be serviced later. So all of these tubs, if they have a system, should have access available. If they don't, there's really not much we can do when we get out there. And again, we don't want them to wait for us to get out there only to find out that we can't do anything because there's not access. So we do require them to have access before we ever come out, just so that it's a one-stop for everybody, for them and for the technician, in order to be able to get their item resolved that they're having trouble with.
Also, another key feature of our website that just happens to be our favorite, since here in Edmond, we have a local showroom, and they use the wish list very often. They build specific wish lists for customers that come in that are looking for tubs. So I showed you earlier where you could add those tubs to the wish list. You can create the great thing about our partner portal is before we introduced the portal, you had your wish list, but you could only have one of them. But with the introduction of our portal, you now have basically an unlimited amount of wish lists you could create. So you can create specific wish lists for customers that come into your showroom, or for builders that are looking for specific tubs. Or say you just want to have that information on hand, you can create pre-built lists that are, say, ovals within the 60-inch range that are whirlpools, and that will have all the details there. How we use it here in our showroom is once we've picked out a few tub options, we put them in their wish list and we send the wish list to the customers that came in. So this pricing information you'll have here, the lead time you'll have here, and any kind of additional notes we wanted to add to it. All of this information doesn't get sent to your customer, just the details of the tub and any comments you want to place in here. So if you want to give them specific pricing, that's what you're going to put in here. Keep in mind that all of this pricing here is list price and not your price. And just wanted to let you know one more time that once you email it to people, that pricing will not be there, just whatever your comments are here.
Okay, so now we'll move on to the FAQ tab. This is a great resource for troubleshooting, general questions, anytime that your customers are having some trouble. It's a great resource to be able to use. So, excuse me. So we'll start off with some of the general ones, and then we'll move over to some actual looking at some of the components for the others. So our first one is, what's the best way to clean the acrylic surface of the tub? So all of the Jetta tubs are made of cast acrylic, which is very durable, but you don't want to use anything too aggressive to clean it. So we recommend using dishwashing liquid, something mild like that to clean it. Things like scrubbing bubbles, Tilex, Simple Green, those things are pretty rough on acrylic if you use them for long periods of time. So we do try to steer people away from those. If you get a particularly stubborn stain, a magic eraser is a great use. We'll get scuff marks on the tubs in our showroom here, and that's what we use to get those scuff marks off. So things like toenail polish, things like that that may get on it, a magic eraser is wonderful for those things.
We do have a question on that. Someone asked, what makes acrylic different from the other materials that are used in bathtubs?
Yes, so there are several different materials that are used for bathtubs. We use cast acrylic, which is very strong. and the entire tub is made of that cast acrylic. It's reinforced on the back with fiberglass, and in a lot of the tubs insulation as well. But there are different products that are out there that are not quite as durable. Gel coat is not going to wear quite as well over time. It is more subject to fading and chipping. And cast iron also, while it is a strong tub, it is also subject to things like crazing and chipping. So acrylic is just a really good material. It's non-porous. It's not going to collect any bacteria, anything like that. So it's just a great surface that, if taken care of, will wear really well over a long period of time. So another question we get is about using Epsom salts or bath salts, bubble bath, things like that in the tubs. We do recommend that people do not use that type of thing. Some of the salts, if they have bigger rocks, can get stuck in the air lines and the plumbing lines, and the salt water is not good for your pump, which has the water going through it. So we just generally encourage people not to use those kind of things. The other thing is that if you use something oily, which many of the bath bombs have a lot of oil in them, that is going to cause those oily particles to deposit within the plumbing lines of the tub and encourage an area for bacteria to grow. So you don't want to do that. If they do want the experience of bubbles in their bath, what we do recommend is water-soluble bath bubbles. Those can be found easily on Amazon, places like that. You're just looking for something that's water-soluble, because that is really just going to break down with the water and not collect anywhere and not cause you any problems.
We have a question on that. They want to know, can we use bath salts or bath bombs even if the system's not running?
We still generally do. If it's a soaker, then that's fine. But we do, if it's a system tub, we do still ask people to not do that, because you will still get water backing into that plumbing. It's not going to go near as far as if you were running the system, but you can still get some buildup behind those jets or in the very front of those air injectors that may not blow out the next time you use it. All right, so one of the common questions we get is if we can use something other than mortar to install the bathtubs. And we recommend mortar and mortar only, and it's because it chemically cures to a very, very hard compound. The questions that we get a lot of times are if we can use foam or if we can use drywall mud, things like that. Unfortunately, those products are going to break down over time. And when they do, all of the weight of the tub is going to wind up resting on the lip of the tub instead of supported by the bottom of the tub. And with that, along with the weight of the water in a bather, will over time cause that tub to crack. So it does actually void the warranty of the tub if it's installed on something other than mortar. So all of our installation instructions recommend like 4 large coffee can size lumps of mortar down in the bottom, putting the tub on it and letting it level out, pushing it down so it kind of swishes around and levels it out. And that's going to create a really hard base and have all of the weight of that tub supported by the base of the tub, and no weight is going to be resting on the lip of the tub, and that's what you want. You'll see that there's some other questions out here about, what kind of drill bits to use, different things like that. So we won't go into all of those. We'll do more on the operation of the actual components as we go. Let me get over here where we can show you guys this stuff. We'll switch over to the camera so that you can actually see the components. Okay, we good? All right, hi everybody. All right, so we're going to talk about whirlpools first. Move these out of the way. So how the whirlpools work, this is a pump. So with a whirlpool, you have a pump pushing water through jets. So this is a water pushing pump. It's activated by an air button, which is what you see on the top of the tub. And it sends a puff of air down this red tube and connects into the back here and flips a relay, which is what turns the pump on and off. So I'm going to push this button and hopefully you guys will be able to hear the relay click over. So that's what that sound is. So if you get a call with somebody who says that their pump won't turn on, the first thing that I have them check is to see if they hear that sound. If they hear that sound, that means everything from here down this line connected back to here is connected and is working, and it is actually sending the signal for it to start. And that lets me know that we probably have an electrical issue at that point. So if we hit that and they can hear it clicking over, what I normally have them do is to check the GFI that's underneath their tub. I usually ask them to use a lamp, a hairdryer, something that they know works. Just plug that in and make sure that that GFI is hot and that it hasn't tripped. So it's not the breaker, it's going to be the actual GFI outlet that's underneath the tub. So sometimes that just resolves it. Sometimes they'll find out that the pump isn't plugged in at all when they get underneath there, and that will resolve it. If it doesn't, then the next thing that we would look at, that should resolve it really if they're getting that sound. The second scenario would be they push this button and they don't get any sound. And that means that something is disconnected. Either this is no longer plugged in, it got disconnected during installation or something, because that does come out fairly easily. And tubs are awkward and big, so they're kind of hard to handle. And trying to get them down into a tub deck, that could get caught on someone's hand and come out. Or this little port that's on the bottom of the air button can get broken. And if that's happening, then when they're pushing this button, the puff of air is not going down this tube. It's not hitting the relay, so it's not turning it on. So in that case, it's a simple replacement of this button body. And if you guys want to keep some of those in your store, so that if you have a contractor who has a closing coming up really quickly and has plenty of access and wants to just swap that out, it's a super easy thing to swap out. It's basically tighten a nut, pop a little tube on, and then they're good to go. So we're definitely happy to send some of those to you so that you have them there for emergency situations. So that is kind of it on Whirlpool pumps and the buttons that operate them. Do we have any other questions on the Whirlpool pump operation?
Someone wanted to know what happens if the button gets stuck.
Okay, so the button on the top here, and that can happen. Normally what we see is that some grout or something from the construction process has gotten in there. So all you have to do is take a plastic putty knife. I'm actually going to do it with my fingernail and just pop up this little trim ring. It comes right off. So you can just take that out. Just pull up the center portion of the actual button, and then they can clean down in here, get any debris out of there. And I usually recommend that they clean around the edge of this button to get any debris off of there as well. Then you're just going to slide that back into place and just pop that little bezel back on there, and then they should be good to go. So that one's an easy fix.
And no other questions for that.
Okay. We'll move on to the jets for the Whirlpools. So what I have in my hand is the jet for the Classic, Designer, and Elite Series tubs. The Advantage Series tubs have a very simple jet that just basically has a directional outlet in it. There's really not much to go wrong with those, and we rarely get any issues on those, so I don't have any of them with me today. So on the Classic and Designer and Elite Series jets, sometimes we'll get a phone call and they'll tell us that all of the jets are working except for one. And based on how the tubs are plumbed, they are daisy chained together, so it would be very odd for only one jet to not be working. So that lets us know that generally it's just that jet is turned off. These jets are flow control jets. So if you grasp the outside ring and turn it all the way to the left, that's the off position. If they turn it all the way to the right, that's the fully on position. So they actually can adjust each jet to what they want the flow to be for that particular area of their body. But if it somehow got turned off in cleaning, or they're just not familiar with the fact that they can do that, they may think that one's not working. The other thing about these jets is that they can be removed for cleaning. So if you grasp a hold of the jet and twist it to the left until you hear it click, you can pull it straight out. This you can wipe out. This is going to be the part that's behind the tub, so you can wipe that out, get any debris out of there. And these can go in the top rack of the dishwasher just for some extra sanitation. Put it back in. You're just going to put it right back in there, twist it to the right until it clicks, and then you're good to go. This one is just a directional jet, so you can just push it into any direction that you want, and it's going to stay there, so you can get targeted pressure on whatever muscle you're trying to do. These are in all of the classic tubs, and they're on the designer and elite tubs, on the hip jets and the foot jets. There is on the back of the classic, or not, the designer and elite tubs, there are some rotational jets. So I'll put one of those in here. They go right back in the same way. I just pushed that in and twisted it to the right. This one has a spinning jet on it, and it is going to cause the water to come out in a whirl pattern. So the way that I have it positioned right now, it's going to come out in a wide whirl pattern. If the customer doesn't like that particular pattern, they can always move it to the center, which is going to cause that to spin more tightly, and it's going to be a tighter pattern that it comes out in. So that's just one of those things. Sometimes we'll have people that if it's kind of spinning like that, they think it's broken, but it is in fact intended to do that, and it is in fact intended to change that water pattern. Do we have any other jet related questions?
Yes, someone asked, can the Advantage Whirlpool be cleaned the same way as the classic designer and elite?
They cannot. Those jets are not removable. So those cannot be cleaned the same way. They are stationary. All right, we will move on to air tubs. Let me go ahead and plug this in. All right, so now that I have it plugged in, you'll see that this keypad is doing a lot of flashing. And that's just its initialization sequence. That only happens the first time you plug it in. That doesn't happen every time they turn the tub on and off. So once all the lights go away, and I have it right set up, and all the lights go away, then you're ready to go. So you'll see on the air pad, there's a whirl button, there's a light button, and then there's a plus and minus button at the bottom, which controls the speed of the bubbles. All of the blowers have 3 different modes. So they have continuous mode, which just means it's running all the time. They have pulse mode, and they have wave mode. So I'll take you through all of those really quickly so that you can hear the difference between the two. So continuous. That's going to be just like it sounds. It's just a continuous running of the blower. Pulse mode is going to be more of a surging type sound, and you get to that by pushing the whirl button 2 times fast. So that's just a little different sensation about how it pushes air through the water. We're going to go on to wave mode, which you get to by pushing that button 3 times fast. So that one's a little more gradual up and down. We do get questions sometimes. People will think that their blower is surging. They may just not realize that those other modes are there and may have accidentally triggered them. But that is normal functionality. It is supposed to do that. It's just some different action we can add to the water. When they're trying to adjust the speed on the bubbles, that is a press and hold of the plus and minus buttons. Continually pressing or repeatedly pressing the buttons will not change the speed. So we'll go through, I'll put it on continuous and then take it all the way down. So That's the lowest setting on continuous, and I'll take it back up. So that was back up to the highest setting. You will notice that the pitch of the blowers is higher, and we're also in a room with a lot of hard surfaces, and this is not enclosed in the tub deck, so it's probably sounding very loud today. So that noise will be dampened when it is in a tub deck, but if you have somebody who's specifically noise sensitive, then a whirlpool might be a better option for them. We'll go ahead and turn on the light, which is just a simple push of that button. I happen to have an LED light in here. There's a whole lot of different patterns to that, just depending on how many times you push the button. You can get solid colors, you can get double colors, kind of whatever you want. When you initially turn it on, you're just going to get a fade from one color to another. So there's a whole lot of different patterns in there that you can do. I'm going to unplug the blower real quick so that you can hear the difference between the air blower, which again is pushing air through injectors for an air tub, and the whirlpool pump, which is a pump pushing water through jets for a whirlpool. So that's a much lower tone or lower pitch as far as the noise level on those. So just something to be aware of.
We do have a question on the keypad. They would like to know what happens if they touch the button before it's finished with its light cycle.
Most of the time, it won't cause any issues. If they do happen to do that, I would just unplug it, plug it back in, and it will start its initialization over again. All right, we will move on to Cosmo tubs. So this is the drain assembly for all of our Cosmo tubs. They do all come with an integrated overflow, which means that it is actually molded into the tub. So we specifically have to use this drain because the way that the overflow comes down, if any water comes through the overflow, it's going to come back down and go through these holes in the side of this drain assembly and then come out of the tailpiece and go out and down the drain, which is what you want. If you had a closed drain, if you put a different drain in there and these holes were closed off, you would wind up with water on the floor. So that's why it's really important to use the drain that comes with it. I'm going to take this apart real quick so that you guys can see this real well. Okay, so on the bottom side of the drain basket, there is a flat silicone gasket that fits up against there. We have had some issues where people have installed these without this gasket flat up against the top, and it causes water to run around the drain basket, back in these holes, and then out the drain. So while there's no leaking onto the floor, the tub is losing water. So there's a quick way to test that, and that is just by putting a rubber stopper in the center of this. If water is still going out, which generally you can hear the trickle, if water is still going out, we know it's an installation issue, and they just need to pull the drain and reset it with that gasket flat against the bottom, or flat against the top of that flange. We have asked our drain manufacturer to start sending the drains in with that flat like that, so that it's not something that the plumber has to do. But you may still hit some older stock that does not have them done that way. And if they put the plastic or the rubber stopper in there and no water is going around the drain basket, then we know that we likely have an issue with the gasket that's on the stopper for the drain itself. And that's an easy thing for us to send you guys, just for them to be able to pop on there and replace. We don't hit that very often. Most of the time when we hit it, it's because this wasn't flat when it was installed and it's actually going around the drain basket. But we have hit a few that have had trouble with the gasket that's on the stopper itself. Put that to the side. And then the last thing that we have is the above the floor drain kit. I'm going to go ahead and pull. This is basically a simulation of the Cosmo tub. It's got the Cosmo tailpiece and everything already attached to the bottom of this. This is the above the floor drain kit, and it can be used on applications where you have a subfloor or applications where you have a concrete sandbox underneath. You just have to get this flat to the floor. It's actually got O-rings inside of it that provide your sealing so that the connection to the tub is actually sealed properly. With the freestanding tubs, it's very difficult for the plumber, almost impossible for the plumber to get underneath it and be able to make those plumbing connections properly. So this particular application is a wonderful way to do that. All they have to do is just take the fully assembled tub and just drop it right down in there, and it's going to seal. There it goes. Now you've got a fully sealed tub and you don't have to worry about any leaking. It also does provide code. It provides an access because you can pull the tub back out if you needed to without having to disconnect anything else from the floor. It's really just a straight in and out of that. So that's a wonderful product that the plumbers will love you for if you sell with each one of your tubs. Is there any other questions related to troubleshooting that I can answer for you guys today? No?
I don't see any questions coming through.
Okay. All right. Well, all of this information, again, is on the FAQ page. We're adding to it all the time. There's videos up there to help you guys out as well, and we will be adding to those as often as we can. So if you have any questions, again, we are here to help. We just want to arm you with as much knowledge as we can. But that is the conclusion of the troubleshooting portion.
And thank you for everyone for joining us this morning. If you have any questions that you didn't think of right now, but you think of later, you have our email addresses, and we will be talking to you guys later. Thank you.
Bye, guys.